This right next to me is the most hyped EV in the world right now, and it's called the MG4 Electric, and it's also one of Australia's cheapest electric vehicles, priced from just under $40,000. And in this review I'm going to tell you everything you need to know about it, and to do that I'm going to run you through the different model grades, then move on to the design, interior, the technology, practicality, and then I am going to drive it to find out if this is one of the best affordable EVs on the market right now. Let's start this video talking about a brief overview about the MG4. So as you can see on the screen, you can get the MG4 in many different variants. And in terms of options, there are 7 colours to choose from, which except for white will cost $700 each. Let's now talk about the design. So this particular example is finished in black pearl metallic, and up the front you have a pair of LED headlights along with LED daytime running lights. And as you can see, it's very streamlined, and you do have additional cooling down the bottom to cool the lithium-ion battery. And moving towards the side view, you have privacy glass as well as 18-inch alloy wheels wrapped in Bridgestone tyres with premium aero covers on this Essence model grade. And moving on to the rear design, you have LED lights with this huge light bar, and for the indicators and reverse lights they are halogen. And down the bottom there is a rear diffuser that is fully functional for airflow, as well as a twin aero spoiler, again fully functional for aerodynamics. And lastly, styling is subjective, so write down what you think of the overall design in the comment section down below. Okay, so first impressions inside the MG4. Some motoring journalists say this is very simple and boring, but I think it does look very futuristic, and it does present very well for a car within this price point. I also like this 2-spoke steering wheel design. It feels very nice to hold, and it can also be heated. And to get comfortable, the steering offers both tilt and reach adjustment, and the seats are electronically controlled for the driver, however manual for the passenger side, and both the front row seats can be heated. And if we move on to infotainment, it all runs off this 10.25-inch touchscreen display. Now in terms of key features, you have FM and DAB radio, satellite navigation and voice control, as well as Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, which are both wired. There is also a dedicated EV menu. It shows you anything you want to know about the powertrain, including your battery percentage, your range and energy consumption, and you can also adjust various settings in relation to the charging. And if you go into vehicle, as you can see, you have different driving modes. And moving on to safety, as standard, the MG4 gets adaptive cruise control, autonomous emergency braking with pedestrian and cyclist detection, a lane keeping assistant, and in addition to the Essence, it receives a surround view camera with multi-angle views, so you have a top-down view, gutter views, and your rear view with rear parking sensors, a rear cross traffic alert, and blind spot detection. And right in front of me is a center screen. On the left side, an assistance menu, and on the right side, this little menu is slightly configurable. And lastly, practicality. So you have a sunglasses holder, a decent sized glove box, wireless phone charging on the Essence trim, as well as 2 small cup holders and a storage tray down the bottom with a net behind here. There is also a center console that goes down pretty deep, and decent door bin storage that fits a litre of water. Let's now move on to the back seats inside the MG4. So I am a full-size adult. I've got this front seat set in my driving position, and as you can see, good knee room, headroom, and decent toe room. And even though the floor is slightly raised and there is a little bit of a hump, I've still got plenty of room in the middle seat, so good headroom, knee room, and toe room. In terms of other key features, there are mat pockets behind the front seats, even up here as well, a single USB-A charging port and a storage section down below, and even decent door bin storage. And lastly, for baby seats, these 2 outboard seats are ISOFIX compatible, and right behind me there are 3 top tether points. Let's now move on to the boot space. So you have 363 litres of overall capacity, and with the 3rd row in place, it is much bigger than a standard Toyota Corolla. You've also got underfloor storage and a tyre repair kit, no spare tyre, which is pretty common on most EVs. There's also a dual floor setup, which is quite handy, and you can also drop the 2nd row if you need even more space quite easily, which means there's enough room for a week's worth of luggage for going away on long trips. Let's now move on to the powertrain. So under the floor features a lithium-ion battery pack, and this Essence grade has 150 kilowatts and 250 newton meters of torque, as well as a 7-year unlimited kilometer warranty for both the car and the battery pack. And moving on to charging, you have a Type 2 combination plug with both AC and DC charging. And as you can see on the screen, I've listed out the different charging capacity figures from MG Spec Guide. Let's now move on to the driving impressions. So what is it like? I've been pretty excited to drive this new model. Starting off with parking, good all-round visibility, decent rear window. You've got the surround view camera. So as you can see, that is pretty easy to do. And when you get out, it does have a really good turning circle around the city. The steering feels very natural, considering it is electric. It does feel like a normal car to drive. In terms of acceleration, it doesn't flick you into your seat when you hit the accelerator pedal, but if you do want something a bit more performance orientated, then you should check out the MG4 X-Power. But to drive every day, this is perfect because the accelerator doesn't feel like an on and off switch like some EVs. So I'm glad they have made this car to be a little bit more refined on the road rather than performance orientated. So yes, in relation to the way it delivers its performance, it was designed to be refined. You've also got different drive modes, so snow, eco, normal, sport, or custom, and some energy regen modes, low, medium and high, and adaptive, along with one pedal drive mode and energy saving mode, so pretty configurable in terms of the driving experience. And in terms of energy consumption, I've achieved 16.7 kilowatt hours per 100, which is pretty reasonable. So as a result, we've got a car with good assistance features, driver aids, it feels very premium inside, it's refined to drive, it's more practical than a Toyota Corolla and not that much more expensive. So in this hatchback body style, I think this is a very good offering from MG, and I think class leading in the segment. So what is my final verdict on the MG4? Well, I was blown away on how good it drives and how good it looks in the flesh and how it feels on the inside. And I do think for this small, affordable electric vehicle segment, this is the best choice. So I hope you enjoyed the film. If you have any questions about the MG4, write down your feedback in the comments down below. And if you haven't already, hit like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next film.